with, oh my gosh, babe, can you just stop snoring? Gee, hello and what is up guys? Vito here, back at it again with another video. Today we are going to be talking about film negatives. Now I just feel like this is just one of the most important things everyone who is basically shooting on film needs to do, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. When I started to basically shoot, dealing with film on a consistent basis, I was not at all organizing, my film negatives. So, but, further down the line, I did, invest money in actually getting some things that, I knew for sure would help me organize my film negatives. So yeah, I'm going to show you guys today my process and things and just how I do things. And yeah, let's just get started. So yeah, the three key points I wanted to touch on is storage, labeling, and dealing with the hard drive part of things, you feel me? So yeah, these two archival pages are basically the only two that I use because, once again, I only shoot on 6x7, 6x45, and I also shoot on 35 mil. This is the 120, 25 pages archival negative preservers. The 120 negative preservers, they can hold up to 12 6x6, 9 6x7s, or even, once, as I said, 6x45 120 negatives. As for the 35 mil negative preservers, each preserver holds 7 strips of 5 frames, which is, 35 frames in total. But for the price that you are getting, dealing with just 25 pages, so, the 35 mil preservers, they cost $9.75, while the 120 dealing with 25 pages of preservers in a package, it's only $9.50. But yeah, these preserves, they also protect from things like dust, scratches, fingerprints. Definitely shout out to Unique Photos. For those of you who do not know, yes, I do basically get my film developed there, and I also get these preservers, and I also get tons of other things, dealing with, my own film at that. So definitely shout out to Unique Photo. And yeah, dealing with me storing my negatives inside the preserves themselves, I always have a glove on holding any type of negative. And yeah, definitely that's one other thing that I wanted to mention to you guys. Definitely when you are handling your negatives, use gloves. I know there's some people that honestly don't care. I don't know why, but definitely use gloves, especially when you're handling, your negatives, because, I've had this situation where it's just like my hands are just has oils, or it's just hard to get off. It's just hard to really get off fingerprints on negatives sometimes. So, using gloves when I'm, scanning or just handling negatives to, store inside these preserves. It's just always a great thing to have gloves on. Have gloves when you are handling your film negatives. So yeah, after I am done with just, putting the negatives in their correct preserves, I'd like to put them in something else called a safe T binder. Safe, the letter T, and binder, yes, that's what it's called. And these things are a lifesaver because, you never know what could possibly might happen, but they are made out of this plastic. There's a scientific name, or more scientific name for them. I will have the name somewhere, on my side here. But yes, these are dust proof and also moisture proof, which is top tier of importance dealing with, your film negatives. And yeah, this is something you should also purchase if you don't have at all any of these things. The preserver and also the safety binder is something you guys should definitely have to basically protect your film negatives, because once again, film negatives, you need to take care of them. That's one thing. That's why I made this video as well. You need to protect them, and dealing with any type of wrong temperature or crazy fingerprints, or dealing with any type of scratches, your negatives can just not be as perfect as they were when you got them developed in the first place, you feel me? So this video was definitely something I needed to share with you guys. But yeah, the safety binder is only $12.99, and yeah, it's, in my opinion, it's fairly cheap. I do have a total of 3 of these binders, but I just bought one just for extra keeping. I basically have one for my 35 millimeter film, and I do have the 120 film. I know there's some people who actually get these binders and they categorize it by, the years, but, I don't have, thousands and thousands of negatives where I need to purchase, a lot more than I have now, because, once again, I only use 2. I have 3, but I only use 2. The third one was just for, safekeeping. I mean, I don't know, you never know. I might try out a whole other, formatted film. But yeah, for the most part, these things are durable. I just like the overall storage process of, storing the preserves within these binders. And yeah, the archival binder does have a snap lock on the side of them. I'm not saying it's like crazy hard to actually, get this to open, but I mean, it takes quite some pressure to actually, snap the lock open, you feel me? And it's just a reassurance thing for me to, make sure that, that my negatives won't fall out of this binder. So yeah, that's another neat and just great thing dealing with these binders themselves. It is very durable, but also these snap locks on the side are a great, add-on to the whole product in itself. So definitely this is something you guys should definitely be investing your money into dealing with film organizing, you feel me? So yeah, dealing with the labeling, I like to label the sides of my binders. But yeah, once you open up the binders, how I label the preserves, I don't know what it is, but I just don't write with a Sharpie on the preserves themselves. I just don't do it at all. What I do is, once again, I take another sticky note and I write down the specific camera. Obviously, you have to make sure you write the specific camera, so you remember, what camera you used dealing with that negative. And also, if you guys can, once again, this is my process, but I like to write the exact date that I actually shot the photos. If you do not know the exact date, hopefully you guys, know the exact year, which, I've only stopped at that type of problem with, me actually just, forgetting the exact date, but, knowing the year at least, because yeah, once again, I have a lot of 35 mil negatives that I have yet to actually try to, put into preserves, and, store them in the binders. But yeah, if you don't know the exact date, at least, try to know the exact year that you may have actually shot the photos. If you don't know the year, at least write the specific camera. And if you don't know the specific camera, at least write the specific negative, the specific color negative, or, the specific film, as I should say, that, you basically shot. But like, I mean, that would be pretty pointless because they have that on the negative, dealing with what type of roll you basically shot, the film. But yeah, that's basically my process. That's basically how I label, both the binder and also the preserves within the binders themselves. But yes, we are on to the third and final thing that I basically do dealing with organizing. Deals with me showing you guys how I organize, the scans on my hard drives. And yeah, we are going to actually head over to my computer and I will show you guys that right now. So yeah, this hard drive, this Lacy hard drive, is a 4 terabyte hard drive, and basically I store all my film photography work on this hard drive. I do have another hard drive which stores a lot of my videography work, a lot of both my digital photography work and also my film photography work. So I do have a backup dealing with the work that's stored on this hard drive on another hard drive, but simply on this hard drive I just basically store all my film photography work on. So yeah, I think just to have it as organized as it possibly can be dealing with film photography work, I think everyone should have a separate hard drive dealing with film photography. You never know, I mean, you do have the negatives, but once again, you just never know. It's better to have multiple ways to get your work than having just one way to basically to get your work, you feel me? But yeah, let's just hop on the computer and let me show you guys how I organize my film photography work on this hard drive. Okay, so I've connected my Lacy hard drive onto my computer. There are two files. Once you open up the hard drives, one of the folders titled Lacy Paperwork and the other is titled Scans. Obviously, Lacy Paperwork is nothing of importance, so we are going to go straight to the Scans folder. Now, before I open up the 2020 or the 2021 folder within, the Scans folder, something I wanted to mention before, I open it. There are a number of things within them that I want to just mention. There is a Premiere Pro. If I've done a YouTube video, there's a Premiere Pro file within any of these folders, and there's also a Lightroom file dealing with me editing the photos after I've done scanned them onto my computer, and there's also TIFF versions of the negative scans that I've obviously scanned from my scanner onto my computer. So we're just going to go with 2021 since it is the year 2021, and there are 6 folders, so there are 6 projects that I've done in total dealing with this year. The very first project I did was a YouTube video that I actually did talking about the discontinued version of a certain film stock, which is Fuji Pro 400H, and I did it with Danny on January 10th, 2021. And I like to title all of my folders with, as I said in the beginning, I do it the same here. I like to title the exact date that I actually shot that certain project, and I like to add a name, something of significance that that will basically remind me that oh, I did it with that person. So I like to put their name, and as you guys can see, dealing with some of them, I like to put the name of the camera. It's not an always thing. The most important thing to me is at least the date and some type of name. But yeah, we're gonna click on Danny's folder right here, and as you guys can see, there are 4 folders here. You have Danny Pro 400H edited in all caps. Basically within that folder too, also there is the final versions of the photos that were taken and edited by me in Lightroom. And then the second folder is the Lightroom folder, well, the Lightroom files. And the third folder is basically will always be the negatives that were scanned into my computer. Once again, it's a TIFF, and I will go more in depth on, I'll make a video on basically how I scan my photos and also how I edit my photos. So look for that in the near future. And then the fourth folder is always, or it's not always, if I've done a YouTube video for it, it will be titled in all caps YouTube, and then once you click it, there'll be files and other certain things dealing with Premiere Pro. So that's basically how I organize my files dealing with any type of film photography. As I always say, thank you guys so much for just coming on here and tuning into this informative video. We weren't out in the field today, but this was very important that I share this video with you guys, especially for the new people who don't exactly know how to organize their film negatives. So, but yeah, definitely this was something I wanted to share with you guys, and I hope you guys learned something from this video, even if you're not new to the whole film world. If you're a veteran, I hope you learned something new from this. But yeah, this is Vito signing off. Love you guys, for real.